Hey everyone, Keegan here from Curious Engineering, doing a quick tutorial video on the 16x2 LCD. So this is a great component that you might want to integrate into some of your systems. Great way to display information about your system. So just kind of jumping into what those components look like. This is the one I actually got. It's from Adafruit. It's great, 13 bucks. Displays different colors, can cycle through them or display one at a time. SparkFun has another option as well. This one's a little bit more pricey, but it just depends on what you want for your project. So that brings me to the motivation for this video. The tutorial guide that they have online is really great. Walks you through everything, but you'll notice right off the bat different component, different number of pins actually, which is some point of confusion at times. If you were to follow this, it would still work, but you wouldn't get the cool colors like you were supposed to get. So the part I will move to actually is about page here, around here. So this actually has a specific section for it. It'll give you instructions on how to utilize these 3 extra pins on the edge here, and then walk you through this cool color rainbow effect. But that brings me to another important point, which is if you're ever confused, always check the datasheet. The datasheet is made by the manufacturer, have all the information you need, and which in this case is the pin assignments and the pin names. So I've just kind of made a quick table where I have all the LCD pins, what Arduino pin they should connect to, and kind of what their label is, and a quick description. So I would use this as what I made as a quick and easy way to make sure I don't forget this if I want to hook it up again. Cool, so let's move into the materials and assembly section. Alright, now that we've done the introduction, let's take a look at what materials we need. Obviously you're going to need your LCD, so this will actually probably come unassembled or unsoldered, I should say. You can solder both sides, but they're exactly replica of each other. So you just need to do some soldering work. You'll need a potentiometer. It's a 3-pin potentiometer, one connecting your ground as well as your power, and in the middle is the pin of interest, so that will actually be your input to the LCD itself. Obviously you need your maybe a breadboard, and you obviously need an Arduino board, and a whole bunch of wires. So just be prepared to do that. It's great to use some sort of coloring scheme if if you get confused, you know exactly which one is potentially hooked up incorrectly. Awesome, so let's move into the
work. You see me heavy work. You see me do me dirt. So me better work. When you walk a line. I'm in the cafe, man.
Okay, so that last video wasn't very helpful. Let's take a look at a schematic. So again, I have the table here. The first column is the LCD pin column of interest, as well as the 4th column, the Arduino pins of interest that we'll be connecting to. So pin number 1, we're going to connect this directly to ground, as well as pin number 2 to our 5-volt power line here. Now the reason we're doing this is to complete the circuit. The LCD isn't just something that the Arduino streams data and all this stuff and it has its own underlying circuitry which we need to communicate in tandem with. If you're interested in more information, we can delve into the datasheet, but for this, let's continue. Pin number 3, this is going to be connected to our potentiometer, which is sandwiched by a ground and a power line. This potentiometer, which I'll talk a little bit more later, will actually control the opacity of each element on this LCD screen, and it'll go from being invisible to being washed out or very dark so you can't see. So you have to play with that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Pin number 4 is we want to communicate with this pin and selecting certain registers, again on the underlying circuitry, through pin number 7 on the board. Pin number 5 is you have some read-write capabilities with this circuitry, but we actually don't need that for just printing a simple example. If you get into that, you'll want to be knowing the datasheet even further. So we're going to connect that to ground. Pin number 6 is going to enable us to read data or write data. Again, I mentioned we don't really care, but we actually do want to. We want this thing to. We want to write data to it. So we're going to connect that through pin number 8 on our Arduino board. We're going to skip these next 4. Again, it's not necessary. We only need these these 4 to complete our project of just printing out information. But it does have the capability of printing 8-bit numbers through those data buses, but we'll just sequentially hook up 11, 12, 13, 14 on the Arduino board. As well, we need to provide an electric potential across the LCD itself. So we're going to connect that to power, and then depending on which one you do, that will complete the circuitry on illuminating certain LEDs, which will allow you to have the certain colors. So we're going to pick for this one blue. I like blue, so I connected that to ground. Okay, now let's move on. Awesome, so now that we've done the materials in the assembly section, let's move into getting this thing programmed to the board itself. So what I have is just your basic hello world. So this is built into the IDE. It's really handy. You can just go to File, Examples, and then under Liquid Crystal, you'll see a hello world example. Greatest thing to get you up and running, but there's one key difference. What you'll notice here is what they recommend on in the instructions tutorial. You really need to change these the pin assignments and what pins are actually there. So this is really important that you actually make this change, which you can see is not standard if you open up the hello world example. So if I open up one I've already made, I've made that change, and then the other thing to note, and something that you will actually want to change, is actually the message here. So I've changed that message to output what I actually want it to output. So this will just get you up and running, and then where you take it from there is kind of up to you. So let's move to the section where we look at what this physically looks like on the board. So now we've done the coding, the compiling, and the uploading. Let's see what that looks like in real time. So I've already uploaded it, so I'm just going to plug it in. We'll see that it should start up correctly. We'll give it a few seconds, and then verify that we've done everything correctly. Boom! We've done it. Excellent. So one thing I want to point out is actually the potentiometer. So you might be wondering why this is here. So this actually is just a bridge between the power line and the ground, and depending on how much you twist or untwist it, it will change the resistance. There's a huge impact on what you can actually see. So if you notice I turn it all the way to one side, everything disappears. So if you're confused and you don't see anything, this might be something to play around with. So change your potentiometer value. You almost have to tune it to find the sweet spot. So that looks good right there. So the other thing I want to point out is actually the different colors. So how can you cycle through those? So pins 16, 17, and 18 are the different colors. So if I cycle through those, you get red, green, and you have your blue. So if you add another wire, so you can have mixing of colors. So if I add to our ground line, and then if I hit, say, the red one, we get purple, or you get this teal color. So yeah, anyways, just something fun to play around with if you want to get a certain color. Oop, don't like that color. Anyways, okay, so now what I want to move into is, again, that rainbow color effect that you saw on the Adafruit site. So give me a second to set that up, and we'll jump right. Okay, now just going to show that rainbow effect. Again, I've already uploaded this. I just made a few different changes. Actually, I'll kind of walk through those. So pin 18 now is connected to pin 6 on your board. Pin 17 is connected to pin 5, and pin 16 is connected to pin 3. Not sure why I didn't pick 4, but if somebody knows, let me know. So I'm just going to plug it in. Give it a quick second, and it should work. I'm going to dim the lights so you can really get a full effect. Awesome, guys. Well, yep, so it's stepping through those colors. This is really all I had for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and if there's nothing else, then have a good day, and we'll see you on the next video.